watch Tim Hightower. He gets himself ahead of steam. Watch his shoulders go. There they are. Square up the field. Now lower it. Now you become the battering ram. You deliver the blow. Don't allow the defender to deliver the blow. And this is what I was talking about. They haven't done any hitting. The defensive backs haven't hit anyone.
Greetings and salutations, listeners. This is Magpie here, and as always, we have another episode of Dark Match ready for you to go. And I'm enthusiastic to talk about wrestling today, and we are talking about... Guys, what's today's episode?
Impact.
God damn it! What? I'm not enthusiastic at all. This is Magpie Cuckoo. Someone else announce your name and catchphrase.
Iron Bite Dash, and I am coming to you live from the Batcave.
Really? Dude, that would be so much more interesting than this fucking show.
Well, it's at least as dark as the Batcave.
That doesn't count.
Was that in the background in the Batcave?
Is that Alfred?
Yeah, that's Alfred.
Alfred sounds more effeminate.
Yeah, apparently Alfred is
Less
changed
British.
genders.
But at any rate, I am No Leaf Clover, and it's that time once again for What is the Ultimate Warrior tweeting? Now, I have to say the tweet that the guy he's replying to tweeted first. And this is a tweet in support of the Ultimate Warrior. It's from Sean Hurley Dash. Apparently he's it's Sean Hurley _ not Dash.
Hurley?
I thought he was stealing Iron Bite's gimmick, but apparently he's not.
He better not be stealing my gimmick.
But he tweets to the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, this is in all honesty and sincerity. You're fucking crazy, but you speak the truth. We need more people like you. Apparently, Warrior didn't quite take it as a compliment, because he said in reply, "Don't your balls ache sitting on a fence, or is it that you just don't have any? Only twats try to have things both ways."
That's your Ultimate Warrior impersonation?
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
I don't know.
No, no, Ultimate Warrior, no.
You know what the Ultimate Warrior's like now? It's like your crazy grandpa that fought in the war, and your grandpa was like, and not even just like World War II, he fought in like World War I, and he's gone like so obliviously crazy, like, you just have him around for the sake of having him around just so you can see what weird thing he's going to say next. But every time you want to hear him say something and he says it, you're like, wait, what? No, don't, no, It's a love-hate relationship.
I would much rather be talking about my grandpa right now than talking about this episode of Impact Wrestling. And here's the thing. We're very much we're coming into a time in TNA wrestling where it's not bad. It's not bad. I wish it was bad. I wish it was bad again. Because now it's just hopelessly mediocre, and I would rather have it be bad and be entertained by the badness than have it be mediocre and fucking boring.
It's like you're in a permanent purgatory of just mediocrity. I mean, it's purgatory. It's not completely horrible as it was, and it's not amazing. It's just in this mediocrity of... It's a purgatory. It's in purgatory.
The thing that kills me is that there are these there's all these storylines they could take. There's all these different angles they could try. But what do we get is Sting ripping off an E-Fed character. Hogan, I have no clue what Hogan's doing. Jeff Jarrett apparently not honoring whatever it was, his word about, hey, I'll go to Mexico or something. I don't know. And, well, the most confusing tournament setup I have ever seen since basketball.
Whoa. Do not compare Impact and baseball in the same sentence. Baseball is fucking awesome.
It's fucking awesome. How dare
And it has a cohesive story and likable characters.
Well, baseball also makes sense in terms of a sport than this stupid Bound for Glory series that we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
But just real quick to quote our favorite, my personal favorite, well, he's not a fox right now, he's a dragon. So my favorite dragony friend, Allie, said, the only thing worse than bad is mediocre. And I think that sums up Impact in fucking, in just beautiful. Fucking perfect terms.
And speaking of Impact, let's start off with Sting recreating what happened to him last week.
He really got in character at how he got beat up. I mean, that was just a really good reenactment. It was almost as good as the reenactments you would see on Unsolved Mysteries, I'd say.
I watched this thing, and my mouth was open in horror. Because I'm watching a grown man with this nervous shirt on.
Oh, I'm going to stop you there. The nervous T-shirt, I mean, we all been making the joke about how the character Sting right now is a complete ripoff of Heath Ledger's Joker, and we all know that. We all acknowledge that. Joke's been done 1,000 times. But that T-shirt, just looking at it, it looks like those Joker shirts, so it makes me thinking, like, when I saw that shirt, I'm thinking, I wonder if Christopher Nolan's going to call his lawyer. I mean, I think
I wish.
That's ripping off his merchandise.
To be honest with you guys, looking at that shirt scares the living fuck out of me. like if it was in the middle of the night and that shirt was hanging off the chair in my bedroom and I wake up and it's staring at me, I'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like falling asleep while watching Impact on your computer and the headphones are on and you wake up in the middle of a Jeff Jarrett promo. It's horrifying.
But
going back to the reenactment, though, what it just reminded me of was Sting right there and doing this reenactment of him getting beat up by Kurt Angle because that was the goal. It was like they were trying to rip off The Crow, where Eric Draven visits his apartment and reenacts the night he was murdered, but fucking lamer and more cartoony.
It really was, now that you think of it. So, but apparently, once Sting is done kicking his own ass, he gets on the mic and says, "That was awesome to get my ass kicked by Hulk Hogan again." What? Wait,
there's an invisible Hogan, or Hogan can transcend?
No. He was reenacting what happened last week because he was so proud that Hulk Hogan was kicking his ass, that he lit this fire under Hulk Hogan, and now everybody wants to see Hulk get back in the ring.
Wow.
No. Nobody wants to see that.
No.
No one in the fucking world wants to see Hulk Hogan wrestle. No one. There's not a single fucking soul that wants to see Hulk Hogan wrestle. And if they do, I will personally stab you in the fucking thorax with a spork. Because there is no fucking way that you should want to see Hulk Hogan wrestle.
And on top of that, Jenna, I would rather see Sharmell and Jenna again rather than seeing Hogan get back in 2011. I would rather sit through the worst December to remember. No one wants to see Hogan back. No one wants that asshole back.
I would rather watch Alicia Fox versus Melina. Fucking watch.
60-minute Iron Woman match than see Hulk Hogan wrestle again. And I was about to say that too, Noli, so goddamn you for stealing for stealing my joke. But
name a bad match. Name any fucking bad match.
Nasty Boys versus Jonathan Coachman, Hornswoggle, and Scott Hall, 60-minute Iron Man match, WrestleMania main event.
Yes, I would want to watch that. I would want to watch that. I would pay money to watch that if it meant I didn't have to see another fucking Hulk Hogan just retire. No one wants to see you wrestle. You're not a fucking draw anymore. No one gives a shit about you. This is why your parody porno isn't gonna sell any fucking copies.
I don't think he has anything to do with the parody porno, but that's for another show.
Yeah, that's going to be the trickiest to ever.
But Sting calls out Hogan. He wants Hogan, and he wants Hogan tonight. And instead he gets Ric Flair.
Yay. Like, years ago, that would have been a great trade, but now it's just as like, okay, we got Ric Flair. What?
And
I don't want to see Ric Flair wrestle anymore, really.
I don't either, but...
Ric Flair wrestle. He references the last episode of Nitro. Remember that main event where it was Sting versus Ric Flair, and the two put on a clinic, and you just knew that it would be something special watching those two wrestle for the very last time?
The same match that happened 11 years ago?
Yeah, pretty much.
And we were like half our age, like 12, 10, and we were... And
the same match that wasn't really that great.
But it was still better. Well, it was still a pretty good capper for what was a good wrestling company. Yeah, apparently Ric Flair wants Sting.
Well, actually, that match wasn't that good. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that match wasn't good. Sting was hurt, and Ric Flair was kind of out of shape because they had him used. That was during Ric's kind of dark period before he came back to WWE. But it wasn't a great match. So no, I don't remember. I don't remember being all, man, that was such a great match. It was the way that WCW should have died, I guess, but...
It had a dignity, at least, like, okay, this is the last match we're going to have. There's some semblance of dignity in this. It isn't like...
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Flair wants to throw all that dignity out the window and wrestle Sting tonight.
Because he's the
See, at least you could argue that with WCW, those two fighting for the last time, there's a dignity in that company where it's like, okay, it's the last day of this company. Yeah, it had like the worst slow death you've ever seen it happen, and a lot of shittier decisions at that, but at least WCW meant something, so having that last match on Nitro meant something, but to have that match just on, what was it, on Impact or Bound for Glory, to have it in TNA in general just means jack shit.
Right, exactly.
Even if it was a prestigious match, it doesn't mean anything because of the company you're in.
Mm-hmm. But Flair has conditions. He tells Sting.
Well, we all know Flair has conditions. That's not new.
Well, this is conditions for the match.
Match.
If Flair somehow beats Sting, Sting's got to retire. Not a phony baloney, retirement. The real deal.
Wow. A retirement angle.
But when Sting... Yeah, I know. But when Sting beats Flair... He'll serve him Hogan's ass on a silver platter.
Wait, how do you serve his ass on a silver platter? How does he get right to say what Hogan would do? Why is Sting going to retire? What the hell's going on?
I know, we're already about 10 minutes into the show, and we're already confused. But
10 minutes into the show? I was confused about 2 seconds into this fucking show.
Well, I went a little bit further. So so Sting accepts, tells Flair he smells like garlic. Flair woos, and we cut to commercial. Hey guys, do you want some more homoeroticism in your wrestling? Because after the commercial break, Flair's making out with Hogan.
Must get the painful image out of my head. Must think of Tommy Wiseau's ass. Tommy Wiseau's ass. Oh yeah, painful image.
When Tommy Wiseau's
how that's better.
Oh, look at that grizzly ass. So much better.
Moving on.
Flair is basically called into Hogan's office, and Hogan just flips the fuck out.
Are you on some goofy pills or something?
I don't know. And Flair tries to calm him down because he hasn't seen him in 2 months.
Goofy pills.
I thought it was longer. When was the last time we've seen Flair on TNA?
He came back last week.
Lockdown?
Oh, did he really? Because, you see, I kind of stopped watching TNA after Well, no. I didn't even watch it for the build-up to Hardcore Justice because I didn't have TV. I'm regretting getting cable back. Flair kisses, gives Hogan this hug, and kisses him on the cheek a couple times, and assures him he's got Sting's number because he's the nature boy, and he woos himself out of the office. Hey guys, it's time for our favorite round robin, super weird ass fucking tournament ever. It's a Bound for Glory series match.
Can this end? I want to watch Doctor Who and just enjoy good things.
But first, we have to recap the live events, where apparently, after the live events, Crimson is still in first place.
Wait, the live events that really shouldn't matter in continuity with the TV show?
Bully Ray is in second. And Robert Roode, after beginning this tournament with no points whatsoever, has skyrocketed up to third. And our first match is Blink and You'll Miss It, Devon versus Scott Steiner.
And,
are
yep,
we complaining that this match was short?
Yeah, we are. Oh, God.
I blinked. I looked down at my phone to read a tweet. I don't even know who the tweet was from. I looked up. Scott Steiner's legs were all up in the ropes, and he was pinning Devon.
And before that, it wasn't even like there was something that they just did for that match, or just something that happened in a good space of time, because like the footage they show right when they're going into this match is from the house show, and you see the same exact finish where Devon's just getting pinned while Bubba Ray's legs are on the ropes. And then now it's just that same fucking finish. It's like, why?
And so as Scott Steiner's point is, is celebrating, yeah, I just beat you, bitch. What you gonna do about it? And I'm scratching my head going, what the fuck just happened here? Devon's bitching in the ring, and here comes Samoa Joe.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I can't get excited for that anymore. God damn it, TNA.
Oh, hi, Joe.
And Samoa Joe just proceeds to destroy Devon, which leads to Devon's kids trying to defend their father.
Again, that's like the that's like the fifth or fourth time, I'm not sure the exact number, and I don't give a fuck, but it's happened too many times where these two idiot kids of his just run into the ring. First off, are there any securities keeping them away from that? And second, they're not going to do anything. What does it matter? Joe could easily choke these fuckers out and get back to beating up Devon. It doesn't do anything for the plot.
Well, it does, because apparently they were able to stop Joe from destroying Devon's knee, because he locks him up in a modified figure 4 heel hook in the ropes, and then Pope comes in, and Joe's
And why would
next.
Joe, stand off away from him? Because it's like, he's going to be afraid of the Pope. I mean, yeah, they've had 2 long feuds that gone nowhere, but at least Joe came on top. Point is, Pope's not one of those guys who's like, I should run out and go against Joe, because he's gotten his ass kicked by Joe numerous occasions.
So, Samoa Joe, this leads to a backstage Samoa Joe promo, where Joe is screaming at the camera, begging Dixie Carter to fire him. And also, he's going
hi, CM Joe.
Yeah, I know. Or
is he speaking the truth?
Samoa Truth. And the thing is, Joe is like, you can't fire me, and I'm just gonna start to. You messed with me, and you know what? I'm just gonna destroy this Bound for Glory series that ends in when's Sacrifice again?
I don't know.
A couple weeks.
Who
Joe,
cares?
you're a little bit too little, way too fucking late, you retard.
I don't understand how he thinks he's going to ruin the Bound for Glory series by only attacking the fucking faces.
And again, also with the Joe just doing what he's doing, do we need another outside character mad about some establishment thing, swearing to destroy or just dismantle or whatever? We're going to kill whatever division. Do we need another character to do that? I'm pretty sure that's what Sting's about right now. I don't know what the hell Sting's doing, but they've done that angle, redundant. Oh, God, I'm going to stop now before I ramble.
Well, here's the thing, though. After this, we actually get a good match. An 8-man X Division gauntlet that will establish the new X Division rankings.
Wasn't this the match that had to get? Wasn't this the match that had to get re-recorded because they didn't like it the first time?
Yes,
Yes, it is.
But beyond
Oh
that,
wow, what a great match!
beyond that, why in the bluest of blue hells are we trying to do this fucking championship ranking bullshit again when it failed so fucking miserably the first fucking time? It's fucking failing miserably in the Bound for Glory series. No one gives a shit about championship rankings. Because they don't fucking matter. Because the fucking rules of the championship rankings are completely arbitrary and you can change them however you fucking want. That's what we saw the first fucking time when they had the championship rankings where, you know, Kurt Angle was trying to work his way up the ladder and he's gonna beat, you know, the top 10 contenders so he can get a championship match. Meanwhile, fucking whoever they fucking wanted to be the number one contender of the fucking moment was the fucking number one contender. And he just randomly shot up the rankings completely without any rhyme or fucking reason. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. We don't give a shit about rankings. It's okay. Just have a guy go out there and have a number one contendership match.
Yeah.
Because that's all that's gonna fucking happen anyways. All that's gonna happen is that you're gonna take, you know, the number one ranked guy and the number two ranked guy, and you're gonna make them have a match, and whoever wins that fucking match is going to be the fucking number one contender.
Simplicity, you're beautiful.
We've been down this fucking road before.
I love you, No Leaf, when you get into the trance. Well, this gauntlet, X Division gauntlet, is Alex Shelley, Tony Nese, Kid Cash, Robbie E, Zema Ion, Jesse Sorensen, Mark Haskins, and Austin Aries.
Greatest man ever. Woo!
And I love Christy Hemme when she does the introductions for Austin Aries. It's the greatest entrance I've ever heard since John Cena. It starts off with Alex Shelley versus Mark Haskins, and Mark Haskins is one of the newer X Division talents that I actually like. Unfortunately, he needs to learn how to do the fucking GTS and not try to break Alex Shelley's face.
Oh, hi, new John Morrison.
Alex Shelley getting eliminated right off the bat kind of was weird. But
yeah, he's your veteran. He's one of your best. I mean, that's Alex Shelley. That guy should be taking these new guys to the limit.
I'm having December to Dismember flashbacks.
But
yeah, he's Alex Shelley. He was already a champion. He's supposed to be taking these guys to the limit or be one of the last guys. It just makes sense.
Alex Shelley holds on to his face like that was a blown spot. And then just gets eliminated and slowly rolls out of the ring. I think there was a reason why they had to retape this match. And
yeah, because apparently Eric Bischoff has an ego and didn't like the way the match was going, or whatever the fuck reason it was. I don't blame the rest.
We go on. Haskins eliminates Shelley. He eliminates Robbie E after he was arguing with Cookie, and why is Robbie E still employed? Zema Ion manages to actually win, beat out Mark Haskin. Then Jesse Sorensen comes in, and yeah, they put on a nice clinic there. Sorensen beats him. Then Tony Nese comes in, and Sorensen somehow gets him eliminated. And next we come in with Kid Cash.
And we go into commercial, right?
Oh yeah, we go into commercial, and we come back, and I guess Sorensen is our face because he's in trouble. Eventually, Cash apparently decides to go, hey, I'll just do the weakest Tiger Driver of all time. And Sorensen rolls into a cradle to eliminate Cash. And Cash isn't exactly happy about this because as the referees all cluster around Austin Aries, you'd think there would be one left in the ring to, maybe keep an eye on things so that...
Yeah, look over, make sure the rules are officiated and properly.
Just
I mean, are you guys expecting a referee to be a fucking referee?
Yeah, you're right. We're asking too much.
Kid Cash hits his finisher, which I have no clue what it's called on Sorensen.
Oh, the double underhook spice? The double underhook pile driver.
Yeah, I think it's called like the Moneymaker or something. I don't know. The results I'm reading here is called it the J Driller. What? I don't know.
Oh, no, that's not the J Driller. That isn't the J Driller.
I don't know what it's called.
J Driller's way more painful, and I love the J Briscoe.
Aries comes in and he just starts stalking like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go in. Maybe I should be. I'm gonna feint this way, and then he just does the one boot. Just the one boot. Yeah, I'm gonna win this now, and Sorensen kicks out on 2. Aries then goes, oh, I gotta get serious. Pins him for the 2. Eventually, it just takes a brain buster.
And I gotta say though, I am glad they didn't do that right away. Where he's like, oh, he got knocked out, and 1, 2, 3, he stood up there and Austin wins, because I at least liked that the wrestlers were like, okay, let's try to get a surprise to going in there. Like, oh, he's gonna roll him up. There's like an interest in there. Granted, it's predictable and we know what's gonna happen, but at least there was that bit in there. Although I have to say, though, just having Austin Aries come in and just capitalize, I mean, it's fitting to the heel character that he's portraying, but that's Austin Aries. You have Austin Aries. He's one of the most best and polished wrestlers working today. You get that guy in matches, and you have him, like, against your best. You have him in the forefront. You push that guy. Like, in all honesty, if I had Austin Aries, I'd be booking him for, like, the world title shots or this and that. You don't want to use him for, like, oh, he's just going to capitalize at the end of the gauntlet. Austin Aries, if he wanted to get over, he should have been one of the first, or the guys in the middle to be there and just kicking all these people's asses. That would have been cool. Like, you get to see a number 1 contender, like, be strong and power his way through other contenders. I mean, that looks like a potential champion. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. But we have an after-match interview, which is Austin Aries basically going, oh, yeah, I just went through 7 guys. Let me catch my breath. And, now that I'm the number 1 contender, I'm going to take Kendrick's X Division title. And there's nothing he can do about it because I'm Austin Aries and I'm the greatest man that ever lived. And down comes Brian Kendrick in his harem pants.
He looks like he was dressed up in Disney's Aladdin. That's what it looked like.
Okay, let me rephrase this then. Let me rephrase this. And out comes Brian Kendrick, fresh from the set of Aladdin the Musical. He tries to shake Aries' hands. He tries to shake Austin Aries' hands, and it's like, and Aries is like, nope, I'm too good for you. And Kendrick just looks at him and goes, okay, and then assaults him from behind.
Yeah, it wasn't even a convincing insult either. It was like, you didn't shake my hand? You're going down, you big bad man. It's pretty evident. I like Austin Aries. I think Kendrick, like, going into the match, if we're talking about what they're building up for, prediction-wise, I think you guys have an opinion on it. But going into that match I like Brian Kendrick. I think he's okay talent. He's not as talented as he was in the years past. He's not as talented as he right now as a champion. He's not that talented as what he was before. And I trust Austin Aries to bring a good match out of him. But even then, with Brian Kendrick being like meh compared to Austin Aries, who is an awesome wrestler, I'm not excited for the matches because I feel as though Kendrick as a champion and the other opponent was going to bring this down. How do you guys feel as a early prediction?
I don't know. I'm kind of where you are. I think Brian Kendrick is capable of having a good match. I'm just not sure if he wants to have a good match, Yeah,
it's just to me, like, pointing that out, if we're comparing, like, I know we're comparing tag team partners of the past, but whatever, but if you compare, like, Lungin and Kendrick as singles wrestlers, London's work rate is way amazing, and Kendrick was just like that. But then you see London now. I'm sorry, I'm stammering. You see London
You're
now.
so
and
trying to call them by their tag team name. Of Lundrick.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, but London. You see London now, and he's an amazing wrestler, and he still has that work rate. Kendrick is like, fuck it, I don't care that much anymore. I'll still do a good match once in a while, but it's not his thing. It's just he doesn't have that like glee that he used to when he wrestled.
No, he doesn't.
He just
So everybody, let's go backstage where Ric Flair is taping his wrists up for his match with Sting, and going, I don't need to tape my wrists up for Sting. Got to take off my. He's basically just muttering to himself, R-Truth style, and eventually he goes, "Where's Sting? I gotta go find Sting," and wanders away. And so we have to fill time by cutting. Oh, we cut to what happened last week with Ken Anderson. Somehow.
It was Ken Anderson. Let's move on. We don't care. Let's go.
I want to fucking talk about this.
You know, I did not see this attack last week, so watching Immortal beat the ever-living crap out of Kenneth. Anybody know his middle name?
Shit.
Holly?
Kenneth Holly Anderson. Is a good thing in my mind. And apparently, this leads to 2 punctured eardrums. And Anderson is on the shelf indefinitely.
2 punctured
So he'll be back in 2 weeks?
2
He'll be dead. What do you mean?
eardrums. It's like they looked in a fucking medical dictionary and said, what's the most illogical fucking injury we can give this guy? What? Why couldn't they give him a concussion? Why couldn't they say, oh, he tore a muscle in his arm? Why couldn't they just, why 2 punctured eardrums? It's like it's like when they fucking said that fucking Abyss had punctured lungs and fucking
Steiner had a shot face. It was carved off.
I mean, not Abyss. RVD had punctured lungs. He had spinal column injuries, and he was back 2 fucking weeks later.
Yeah, it's just that.
Keep it simple, stupid. God fucking damn it! Why?
I love it. I love it when No Leaf goes on these rages, because you know what?
Yeah, it's
exactly the same thing I have. I have the same exact goddamn opinion. Why go with the 2 punctured eardrums? Why go? Why not go? Oh, he's got another concussion. Why not go? Oh, they indeterminate injuries. Why go with the specific punctured eardrums? Because guess what? You're not going to come back from it within 2 weeks.
It's just a pattern. It's just a pattern that happens in the Russo-style booking, or Russo and his minions, or whatever the hell you want to blame the writing on, where they want to have some attachment to it so they'll get the most severe injury they can. And now No Leaf is right. They're just picking out the most illogical ones, because with 2 punctured eardrums, logically speaking, the ride to the ambulance, if Anderson had the 2 punctured eardrums and had to drive from the impact zone to the hospital in the ambulance, he would die like on arrival, because that would fucking kill him. They want to try to make it more dramatic by having the severe injury, but as No Leaf's Rage pointed out, it doesn't have that effect, and it makes them look stupid.
Yeah, we'd like to inform you, fair Impact viewers, that Ken Anderson is suffering from a fatal case of death, but don't worry, he'll be back in a couple weeks. That's what they're fucking saying.
This is like Triple H being raised up while he's trapped in a limo by Austin in a crane, and then the limo being dropped, and he's back the next TV show with a Band-Aid over his forehead.
And it's like, they're not gonna fucking sell it, because if he did have 2 ruptured eardrums, then his balance would be all sorts of fucked up for a prolonged period. So are they gonna have Ken Anderson come back and, stumble around and appear to be dizzy and unsure of himself? No.
I have a prophecy. Ken Anderson, now with the punctured eardrums coming back, will take Eric Young's place as the new goofy guy. He'll have a concussion. He'll be wacky.
Because fucking Ken Anderson isn't entertaining enough. We need to move on from this because I could spend all fucking night talking about how stupid this is.
So let's go.
Why didn't you fucking have like Bully Ray stomp on his nuts and then say he had a ruptured testicle? Because even then, that's a fucking
moving on from this. Hey guys, do you remember when ODB and Miss Jackie were heels trying to make Velvet Sky's life a living hell because they blamed her for them losing their jobs?
Ruptured eardrum.
Do you guys remember that?
No, we're still trying to figure out what's going on between Winter and Velvet Sky and Angelina Love ruining their lives, and we're still trying to figure out subplot B of why Velvet Sky's with Karen Jarrett, and we're still trying to figure out subplot F, what's going on with Mickie James, and I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Let's just call it stupid and move on.
Okay, well apparently now they're going after months of jumping out of the crowd, coming out from nowhere, and just generally being psychotic bitches. Now they're going to play for the rules so that Eric Bischoff is going to give them a contract so they'll get that big money multi-year deal. Bam!
That doesn't make sense. Why would Eric Bischoff want him to play by the rules? He's evil. They're evil.
Speaking of evil, Tracy Brooks is in Eric Bischoff's office to introduce herself.
Tracy Brooks and her massive fake boobs.
Yeah, we see. Let me take over this. We see Tracy Brooks trying to suck up to not Vince McMahon. Sorry, Eric Bischoff.
And her massive fake boobs.
Tracy Brooks and her massive fake boobs trying to suck up to the deity known as Eric Bischoff and trying to get her job back that she used to have, where she was the knockout enforcer or in charge of the one in charge of the knockout.
I think she called herself the knockout sheriff.
Knockout sheriff, knockout law, whatever the fuck it's called.
Knockout law. That's it. Knockout.
She's
law.
the Mel Gibson of knockouts. Moving on.
So, and Eric Bischoff stares at her big fake titties and says, "Hey, I'll think about it." So
because we haven't seen a guy who's in charge with gray hair perved out on his talent. We haven't seen that before in a wrestling show.
So let's move on to our match.
I didn't think of that before.
To our match
That's exactly what it was. A perverted old authority figure that no one likes and is just corrupt and evil, checking out one of his talents just for the basis of wanting to fuck her. We haven't seen that before in wrestling.
But enough about President Bush.
What?
I don't know. I'm just trying
Fuck up, Iron Bite.
Anyways, so let's move on to our match. With Hardcore Country herself, Mickie James taking on ODB. And apparently this is the first time they've ever tangoed together.
Yeah, if this was built up in an exciting fashion and, made to care about it, this would have been good. Because this match, in itself, watching a wrestling match was a very solid match, and I was actually entertained. Yes. And the moves that they're doing were great, which goes by what I like to say, just fucking wrestle on your show!
So, Mickie James hits the jumping DDT, which is a very nice maneuver coming from Mickie James, I must say. I do like
finish?
that. Yeah, that's her finisher now.
No, you're skipping to the finish. Let's talk about the actual match. I mean, there was some really good displays of wrestling.
It's a damn decent and, like you said, solid match. ODB can still go, even though she was fucked silly by Ken Anderson at one point.
Yeah, on but the exchange and chain wrestling, I like that opening exchange where they're just doing the chain wrestling parts and they're playing it. Though Mickey's like, I'm the quicker one and I'm going to use my speed and ability against you, and ODB's like, bitch, I'm here to fight. I mean, it was that type of psychology into it.
There was
and
psychology.
It was just interesting to watch.
There was psychology. Hell, there was even a part where Mickie James gets dumped to the outside and Jackie goes over and looks like, should I hit her? No, we want that contract. Because apparently ODB and Jackie are like, joined at the hip when it comes to this contract situation. Mike today also reminds us that in 2 weeks, folks, Mickie James gets her title shot at Winter.
Yeah, because
she shouldn't have to even fight for, as she was the champion and should have gotten a rematch.
But going back on Mickie James and the championship, though, it's a squandered opportunity because it's like Mickie James had the championship, but like all excitement. Like, okay, Mickie James is a good example of just squandered opportunities because that was one of the TNA's best moves last year was getting Mickie James. And they fucking completely squandered it because when Mickie James showed up, she wasn't viewed as important or was made out to look important. So even when she had the title, no one cared. And then she lost it like 2 weeks after having it. So it's like, why should we care about her eventual rise back to the top when her first reign was just blah?
That's the thing that kills me. They wasted the whole Mickie James getting the title for a while until it became, oh, well, now she's got the title. Who the fuck cares?
And if anything, if anybody should honestly have a title shot, like on a pay-per-view that should be interesting, it, in all logic, should be Velvet Sky. That would make sense. You would have Mickie James gets booted off to the side. Oh, well, I'm not the number one contender anymore, or has a match with winner. And then Velvet Sky shows up and she has her, oh, I want your title. You took my friend. I'm taking what you love the most, that belt. And then that would have been interesting to see.
But I don't think we'll ever get that. We're going to see Winter. We'll talk about Winter and Angelina Love in a second. But this was again, we had 2 matches in a row, because I count the X Division Gauntlet as one continuous match.
Of course.
In a row that were great. They reminded me of, if you just let people go, they're not going to disappoint you.
And that's where our frustration lies with the TNA. It's like they have this talent in their roster that are, honestly, some of those wrestlers are some of the best at their craft today. And you could just let these guys wrestle and have a good show. But it's like TNA does everything in their power to be like, no, fuck these guys who actually can wrestle. Let's push mediocrity.
It's just, Vince, it's a whole mentality. I won't say of the industry right now, because I think WWE is finally kind of getting out of that mode where if we are to believe that Vince has truly let go of some of the power and let Triple H start to take over things, they have made the moves to say, you know what, we are wrestling, we're going to say wrestling on our show, we're going to have storylines and we're going to have promos and we're going to do stuff like that, but we're still wrestling and we're going to have wrestling on our show and we're going to allow our talented wrestlers to go out there and work. Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan are very much afraid of
success.
No, not afraid of success, but of calling themselves pro wrestling. It's something. It's something that exists with older promoters where they just don't want to be called fucking wrestling anymore. They don't want to acknowledge their history. They don't want to acknowledge who they are. They don't want to acknowledge what they are. They want to be sports entertainment. They want to be everything but what they are. You are fucking wrestling. Vince Russo, you are a wrestling booker.
And TNA, with that mindset, and said if No Leaf saying is true, which I believe because that was a very good point, they want to distance themselves as far away from wrestling because there's a shame to it. That's fine, and you can do that if you make that your mindset. I think it's going to be terrible. I'm going to call it shit, but that's your choice. However, if you're gonna try to distance yourself away from wrestling, don't have a campaign where you change your name as a big deal to Impact Wrestling.
Because it just makes wrestling matters.
Yes, if wrestling really mattered, AJ Styles would be with the belt right now, challenging Robert Roode in a match that for probably the next pay-per-view, which they think is No Surrender or Sacrifice.
No, but Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, no. Who cares? I'm not going to watch it because it's going to be shit and there's nothing to look forward to. But it could be something awesome. If wrestling mattered, it would be something they care about. It would be wrestling, and your talent would be pushed forward. So that's where our frustration lies from, because TNA does everything they can not to do that. And they have these things available to them that make them a great show. It's simple.
So, moving on, Mickie James wins with the jumping DDT, which is, like I said before, an awesome move from Mickie James, because it actually looks like it has some impact.
Oh, she can really do that. She can do that move great. Just, and whoever's selling it, like LDB, sell that thing like death.
Right. And after the match, Jackie gets in. Mickie and her have a nice little stare down, and then it's like, okay, I'll shake your hand. And as we said before, let's talk about Winter and Angelina Love.
Yeah, this was an interesting segment. We just cut to the back. We cut to the backstage, and we see I don't remember the camera, but it's a nice low dimly lit place, and it's two girls having wine, and they're just discussing things. And take it away, Iron Bite.
It was uncomfortable.
Wow.
I have never been more uncomfortable to watch two women share a glass of wine ever.
Well, to be fair, I wouldn't say it was uncomfortable because whenever Winter speaks, I get a boner. I mean, I'm not going to make... But it's okay. Like you said with awkward, though, I'm going to say, like, I think it was more awkward than it was just uncomfortable because it was like... Okay, it was like they're trying to get set... If it was a porno, they were trying to set up to the girl-on-girl makeout scene, but they were just, okay, we need to put as much descriptive language as we can and just, like, really draw it out and make it awkward and more deep because we're going to make porno that wins Oscars, damn it. And this is what it felt like.
It really, really did. It felt like porno. It felt like a porno that is supposed to go to the Oscars.
It felt like a Skinamax movie.
It did, and I'll admit, I enjoy a good girl-on-girl scene every now and again.
We all do. It's art.
But it was just... Oh, and Duos is now looking at us strangely, probably. And it was just amazingly... And then they just start... Then they ruin it by talking. As we all know...
And they're stroking
Angelina
the belt the entire time.
Yeah, that wasn't needed. And apparently... There's nothing. Mickey James is a little squirrel, and Winter says there's nothing hardcore about her. Yeah, you'd know all about hardcore there, Katie Lee Burchill. Winter. I was waiting for this word the entire promo, and she finally says it at the end. As she's sipping her wine glass, she says that the feeling is orgasmic. Oh, and I was sitting there going, yeah, you had to get that.
Well, you skipped a part. See, it wasn't just that she said something was orgasmic. No. She said that the blood was orgasmic. Because she is drinking from a wine glass that is filled, presumably, with blood. So... You know how, like, 2 months ago, Winter was a witch who had Angelina Love in her spell?
Doesn't she have time-bending powers, too?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, she's no longer a witch. Now, she's a fucking vampire. People get paid to write this shit!
She's a fucking lesbian vampire witch.
And to be fair, lesbian vampire witch sounds fucking awesome, but to anybody listening to this show that doesn't like wrestling, it doesn't pull off as way as you think it would be in your imagination.
How is the Howling 5 lesbian vampire witch?
And Angelina Love is just sitting there. And remember, a couple of months ago, Angelina Love was drugged the fuck out of her mind, and now she's talking normal.
Maybe she built up an immunity to whatever the hell concoction was putting her out.
Why is she still with Winter? Is the sex really that good?
Do you think the swerve in this is that they're gonna make out once, but they're hinting that they're gonna have sex and it's gonna be great lesbian sex, but the swerve is gonna be let me finish. There's a swerve. There's going to be hot lesbian sex, and we're hinting towards that, and when the day finally comes when they're going to announce their love, it's a swerve, and they spend the afternoon watching romantic comedies. And that's the swerve.
No, they're going to... I'm waiting for Edward. Where the fuck is Paul Burchill? Because I'm waiting for Paul Burchill to show up with his pirate ass, except he's going to have fucking messy hair and ugly teeth, and he's going to fucking sparkle on his way to the goddamn ring.
I didn't even think of that. That could happen. That's just scary.
Russo, I just gave you a golden fucking idea. Just
run with it.
Because we know it's going to happen. We know it's going to fucking happen. There's vampires. Fucking Paul Heyman couldn't make vampires work.
So we move on to another Bound for Glory's series match with AJ Styles taking on Rob Van Dam.
I can actually flash back to maybe 2 years ago. Oh, no, sorry, circa 2007, when I was like thinking, wow, AJ Styles is one of the best people in the world. You know, it would be a cool match to have, a cool match to see Rob Van Dam and him. Yeah, that would be a great match. I expect AJ to go on top, and it's going to be interesting to watch and just to see the clash of styles. Oh, that's going to be great. Fast forward to now, and I'm like, wow, I was completely full of shit and wrong when I said that in 2007.
Well, here's the thing that kills me. Also at ringside is Jerry Lynn. Can we tell? Do I need to go on with this match? Because as good as it is, we now know what the ending is going to be.
You don't have to go on. Let's just get to the ending.
AJ Styles wins by DQ when Lynn grabs the referee. RVD is now down another 10 fucking points.
What I don't get is if you're supposed to, like with the series, if you're supposed to immense an amount of, like a big amount of you're supposed to get a high score. You're supposed to immense a high score. Wouldn't in a logical setting, if you tried to book this, you would think, okay, you got a DQ, it doesn't do anything because you don't get any points. It was a DQ. Like, it would make you look stronger if you actually got clean wins.
No, because now the DQ is you lose 10 points. You know what? This whole Bound for Glory series just fucking sucks. RVD and Lynn argue like an old married couple up the ramp as we go to commercial.
Well,
and then we go to the back.
Let's talk about the Bound for Glory series for a minute, because
Go ahead.
This whole thing is meaningless, because we all know that at the last fucking second, someone's gonna get on a fucking roll, and they're gonna end up fucking going and winning anyways. I mean, that's just what's gonna happen. To Magpie's
I already
point,
know what's gonna be.
to
I already
Magpie's,
know who it's gonna be.
but to Magpie's point about shouldn't DQs mean nothing, yes, I think you're right. I think DQs should mean nothing. I don't understand why. I mean, on one hand, I get it, and it sort of makes sense that you don't want a guy you want to penalize a guy for getting disqualified. But is there no one in the fucking back that's watching this and going, you know what? RVD is kind of getting screwed by his friend over and over and over again. Perhaps we should reevaluate. We should fucking reevaluate how this is going about. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense that this continues to happen over and over and over again, and no one's like, you know what? Maybe we should ban Jerry Lynn from fucking ringside or something.
Maybe.
I think I'm actually losing hair. Like, pieces of my hair are actually starting to fall out trying to figure this out.
So, speaking of stuff figuring out...
Just to recap the Bound for Glory series, for those of you who want to fucking know, the current standings are Crimson is still in first fucking place with 50 points. Bully fucking Ray is in second place with 42 points. Bully Ray in the main event. That'll put asses in the seat.
It's sad enough to say this. I'm going to interrupt you, but I would rather see Bully Ray at this point in the main event than Crimson, because Crimson's still green as grass, dude.
But here's the thing that kills me. Beer Money, Bobby Roode, and James Storm, 3rd and 4th place, respectively.
Ooh, someone's going to have a feud or a falling out.
Well, we'll discuss those guys later, because,
Devon is in 5th place with 30 points. Gunner, thank merciful heavens, that prick, is in 6th place with 28 points. AJ has 24 points. Scott Steiner has 21. Pope has 17. RVD has 15. And Joe has -10 because Joe has just decided, because he's a fucking idiot, that he's not going to wrestle anymore.
Good.
Actually, why are we calling him an idiot? Because if Joe's not going to want to wrestle, we're actually faulting him for not wanting to be a part of Impact.
You know what? I cannot fault him for being a part of this. So we go to the back. Or actually, first we come back from commercial where RVD and Jerry Lynn are still arguing like the old married couple that they are. And RVD is like, I don't need your fucking help, you dumb ass. stoner.
And Jerry Lynn replies back with,
Hell.
"Well, why won't you make love to me anymore? You don't look me right in the eye."
Why won't you look at me when we make love? So then we go to the catacombs of the Impact Zone, where,
Catacombs.
apparently Flair thinks Sting lives. And as Flair
Wait. He lives in the catacombs as in underground and not in the rafters?
Yes.
Wow, I knew TNA. Wow, he has to live there. I knew TNA paid you jack shit, but damn.
Oh no,
he's living in the
Sting
Impact
is paid
Zone.
well. Let's not even joke about that. Sting's getting money.
So
How much money is he? He's living in the Impact Zone's catacombs.
So as Flair is running around the catacombs going, "You think I'm gonna fall for this? You're not the Joker, you're Sting," therefore confirming to everybody who they're ripping off. Flair, if something falls from the roof and Flair's like, "I'm not gonna fall for that. I never liked the rafter gimmick." And finally Sting says, "This is bullshit, and you're making a mistake for pissing me, the Nature Boy, woo, Ric Flair off." And finally, Sting comes out of the shadows like he's some sort of fucking supernatural thing, and asks and Flair goes, I'm afraid of you, Sting, and get him, Gunner, get him, and Gunner gets him.
Get him, Gunner.
And then
he's the new attack dog. Awesome.
And
that could be his new gimmick. He's an attack dog. Get him, Gunner.
Gunner used sneak attack, but it was ineffective.
Yes,
Gunner, use hyper beam.
Gunner is confused. Gunner,
Gunner, use confusion healing.
So Gunner gets the jump on Sting, and then Sting turns it around and beats the ever-living shit out of Gunner.
This was the only moment of Impact that I liked.
I missed this moment of Impact because I passed out. When I woke up, Eric Young is still trying to get Scott Baio.
Excuse me. Fuck this, Scott Baio. I'm out of here.
Hey, don't fucking leave on this point. This is the best part.
I don't care. I'm not going to be a part of a show where we talk about Scott Baio. If we get Henry Winkler in the Impact Zone, then I'll care. I'm out of here.
Oh, God. Eric Young is...
Of all the stupid B-list celebrities to get, they couldn't get anybody lovable. Where the fuck was Walter Matthau? Oh, he's dead. Scott Baio! Jesus!
Okay. Scott Baio's storyline aside, the fact that Eric Young is running around with the TV title, not defending it on TV...
Well, you have to remember, he has massive brain damage. He thinks that because he's the television champion, he has to beat TV stars. And I have to be honest, it kind of makes sense in a warped, slightly mentally challenged way.
But, they've got to eventually wrangle his crazy ass, get him back in the Impact Zone to wrestle somebody.
Scott Baio, they couldn't get Fred Savage or that fucker from the world. It's Scott Baio. Scott fucking Baio.
So
you have Jason Hervey. Get Fred Savage. I'm back on the show. I'm going to start a campaign. I want people to write letters and tweet TNA to say we want Fred Savage on the show.
You know what? I've got my smartphone here. I'm going to do that right. No, I'm not going to do that because I don't care.
Wait, someone tweet it.
Somebody tweet it who's not me.
Duos?
Yeah, Duos, you should do it. Anyways, so we come back to the Impact Zone where Crimson is coming in with the big old brace on his knee. At this point, I just tuned the fuck out. Everything else after this point, I didn't give a shit. I absolutely did not give a shit. Once I saw Crimson, I was like, Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to reading my library book. I'm gonna go back to reading my library, which by the way was Batman: Dark Victory, which was the sequel to Long Halloween.
Dude,
which
Long
is
Halloween
something
was
Russo is gonna fucking rip off next.
No, don't you say that. Russo will not rip off Jeff Loeb. We'll just talk about the comic book. Let's just talk about Long Halloween. Wasn't that great?
Yes, it was.
People
great.
give Jeff Loeb a lot of trouble for just having a revolving door of villains, but I think it makes his individual stories better because it just gives Batman a more interesting challenge. Why am I talking about Batman over Crimson? Because Batman's way more interesting.
Yeah,
let's talk about the. Can we talk about the Steelers versus Eagles game? I thought it's only preseason, but I thought the Steelers did pretty well, considering they didn't come out with their best showcase versus the Redskins, but they came out and played well. Michael Vick was just horrible.
If you don't talk about impact, I will kill all of you.
Speaking of the Steelers and Batman, there's actually a connection because they were filming The Dark Knight Rises over there.
Okay,
Did you know that?
Stop. All right, enough with this shit. Because
all I'm saying is that the Eagles' defense looks a little bit soft in the middle because you can essentially run the ball right down their throats with their defensive tackle.
It's the Eagles. They're not that hard to beat.
I've been saying for years that they're just too small up front.
Yeah. Why can't they be a good team?
Get it. This promo sucked donkey balls. Let's talk about it instead of shit we actually want to talk about it. Because you know what? As green as Crimson is in the ring, I'd much rather take him for a silent badass who can kill a bitch dead within 30 seconds than have him ever work the stick again.
Wait, you don't want to see Crimson work the stick? I thought that'd be something you're interested in.
I'm not gay. I have a fiancé.
I was talking about handling a stick, and you always go on to that tangent about is it a gay joke, you shallow idiot. Is your mind that one tracked? I'm making a gay joke. Ugh.
Anyways.
So, I thought the Redskins got off to a pretty good start tonight.
The Redskins do not exist. Stop trying to bring up their existence. They're not real.
Stop! No more sports. Sports entertainment only. So, Crimson talks about how, you know what, Angle, you want to destroy me? Well, guess what? You failed. I'm still alive. Yeah, with a big fucking knee brace on something that didn't hurt? The thing, I hate this fact that Angle has turned on TNA because Dixie Carter knew about Jeff Jarrett and Karen.
Shouldn't he have brought that up like months ago when Dixie was actually there and that plotline would have made sense?
It would have made sense had, Kurt Angle decided to join Immortal when Immortal was... Oh, wait. No, it doesn't make sense because nothing in TNA makes sense.
Yeah, I thought that John Beck looked pretty good in preseason action for his first...
No, Lee. I swear to God, I will hunt down every single member of the NFL if you keep it up.
I think The Dark Knight Rises is going to be a great movie. I
will also kill Christopher Nolan.
People think that...
Boom! If you don't stop.
People think that Anne Hathaway isn't going to be a good Catwoman, and I just...
She's going to be a great Catwoman. She's an amazing actress.
I honestly just think the costume looks tacky. I mean, let's face it. There's nothing about Catwoman in that costume.
Gentlemen,
Nolan trying to
your fucking jobs, please.
They're going to add on the helmet later. Give them a break. It was just the first promotional picture. It's leather. It's awesome.
It's just Nolan trying to shoehorn in a character from the Batman universe without...
Okay.
Thank you, Jesus Christ. I'm about to let my dog start singing. This promo was the dumbest thing ever. It was Crimson basically calling out Kurt Angle and saying that he's such a hypocrite about destroying the young guys and how Dixie Carter was going to, make TNA or be around Kurt Angle when Kurt Angle shouldn't ever fucking be around, doing this. But the thing is, I couldn't listen to this because I don't want to hear Crimson talk. I want to watch Crimson destroy things.
Why do you want to watch Crimson in the first place? He's not interesting.
He's got promise. Okay.
No, he doesn't. My uncle said it best.
I'll say this about him. For what they want him to be, he should just be that. If they just want him to be the big, intimidating guy in the Goldberg fashion, because, can't do fucking shit in this company that's original.
Yes, but that's the point I was trying to get to. My uncle said it best, man. Crimson is just TNA's next attempt of trying to recreate the Goldberg thing. I mean, I think we've harped on that before, but he called it. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So with if it's ripping off something that they already tried to do before, why should we care? And again, it's not even somebody who is interesting or has a unique look. It's just somebody who was brought in as a plot point in the Jeff Jarrett story that no one cared about in the first place. I'd rather see Amazing Red, his little brother, do shit. He's way more interesting in the ring and has more promise and would be a better champion.
And at the end of it, Kurt Angle is leaving the ring after saying, "Yeah, I'll see you next week." Yeah, right, buddy. Crimson says, "Oh, and by the way, Mr. Angle, I'm real. I'm damn real."
So yeah, I thought John Beck had a pretty good preseason performance. 14.
Shut up about sports. We're almost done with this goddamn show.
Anne Hathaway and Catwoman's a good idea. There, I said it.
Thank you. In the back, we see Mexican America getting hyped up for their tag team title shot. Anybody speak Spanish?
I kind of do.
I vaguely understand enough of it to know that nothing they fucking said was right. As Ricardo Rodriguez pointed out expertly on Twitter, if you're gonna have a group of Mexicans on your show, you should make sure they know how to fucking speak Spanish.
Right, and I'm from Southern California. Like I look out my window, I can see the border, I can see Mexico. I don't understand the language enough to translate it, but to understand the dialogue and the way it's supposed to be accented and used, it didn't do it good. Ricardo called it.
To get the obligatory reference to my girlfriend out of the way for the show.
Hi, Lady No Leaf.
She's not with me right now, but anyways. When she watched the show with me, whenever these people are on screen, she's like, really? She's like, they don't even seem Spanish. They don't even, their accents are horrible. They don't even, who are they trying to attract with this fucking angle?
I really don't know, because apparently I think Hernandez says something about motherfuckers, and that's the name of one of his new finishers. Sarita and Rosita babble something in Spanish, which I think can actually speak.
And why is Sarita even there? I mean, doesn't she have like a serious injury where like half her face is like paralyzed at the moment? Shouldn't she be at home resting?
She's wearing a mask so that,
Yeah, but shouldn't she be home resting?
You'd think that. So we have our rematch from Hardcore Justice with Beer Money Inc. versus Mexican America, and guess who's on commentary? None other than the AAA heavyweight champion, Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett. Wasn't he supposed to stay south of the border?
And in all logic, why would he be commenting on their match unless they're actually gonna have a feud with each other? Because wouldn't Mexican American be pissed off at as a faction and what they believe in? Wouldn't they be pissed off at what happened last week? So, I mean, unless Jarrett's going to go down there and screw them the match, and then what actually happened later, it doesn't make any sense that they're there, or what transpired later in the match doesn't make any fucking sense.
So, Jeff Jarrett actually puts over Beer Money, by the way, and just downplays Mexican America. And they, of course, Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett are like, we're the king and queen of Mexico. I had a match down in Guatemala, and it sucked so much we almost thought about bringing our own hotel rooms or some shit like that. But I just lost it in his fucking southern accent.
It's this angle is so offensive in so many fucking ways.
And again, TNA recycling things they've done before. They already had an angle where TNA was making fun of something different and foreign when they was making fun of the MMA, not foreign in terms of like people or different countries, but foreign as a strange different thing to what they do. They already had an angle where he was like trolling and making fun of things, and it didn't work. Why are you trying it again?
They already had a group of angry Latino people, and it was called LAX.
And they were fucking awesome, and they're interesting. They were two different characters. They had badass workers.
Hernandez and Homicide. Well, first of all, because Homicide did all the fucking talking, and Hernandez just was a big guy who, looked impressive at times. Now we see that Hernandez can't fucking talk. Chavo Bagwell. Jesus Christ, sir. You know your Spanish is bad when I can speak it better than you.
And it's like, talking with LAX compared to with the Mexican-American, which is the ripoff of that, in terms of individual wrestlers, you had an interesting dynamic among the wrestlers. You had Homicide, who was a faster, but, a technical wrestler, and you had Homicide, who was a powerhouse. I mean, not Homicide. Hernandez is a powerhouse.
And don't forget, you also had Shelly Martinez.
Well, you had Shelly Martinez. Point is, though, as a tag team, they're interesting and unique in the Styles Clash. With Archaea and Hernandez, bland.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because Hernandez, ever since they broke him away from Homicide, they've been trying to push him, but he's not really. He's one of those guys who's always going to be better in a tag team with someone who's better than him. You know how it's like Bubba and Devon, only not as good, because Bubba and Devon do, for all their fucking flaws, they do have some legitimate talent. But it's like Billy Gunn and fucking Road Dogg. You can't take those two guys out of a tag team. And it doesn't really matter who you put them with. As long as they're in a tag team, they're good. When you separate them and you try to have them wrestle on their own...
Billy and Chuck might disagree with you.
Well, I'm saying that, as long as those two guys are in a tag team, period.
Right, yeah.
Each other. For what it was worth, I kind of liked the Billy and Chuck angle until it went, kind of too far. But
yeah, when it went too far, it went too far. But getting back to this match, Jeff Jarrett at the very beginning is putting over Beer Money and just running down Mexican America. But he's out there for a reason, so we'll find out later on.
Subtlety. Otherwise, you might have a spoiler warning. I can't imagine what the spoiler would be.
Could it be Jeff Jarrett doing some shenanigans?
No, can it be? We'll find out.
So we have, we have a decent back and forth.
Seeing Beer Money work and their tag teaming. When they did the tag team moves together, fucking solid. That was great to watch those two work together, even though if it was a mediocre tag team.
But what kills me is that Beer Money, I have yet to see a bad match between them and anybody else. I really haven't. I mean, the fact that James Storm is working so well with Robert Roode means this inevitable breakup is going to hurt me so much more. But
think of it this way, Iron Bite. They could have broken up, and then James Storm could have been talking with fucking Braden. Could have been tag teaming with Braden fucking Walker. So
it's true.
Then again, Braden Walker has had some great times. Does anyone else remember that time he stood up on the ramp with his hands on his hips?
Oh, I love that. Oh, do you remember the time he took on that one guy? Oh, that was like a classic.
No, nothing will beat the classic moment when he talked to Matt Hardy for that brief 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was a moment.
Good times, good times.
Yeah. The Dark Match, brought to you by the best of Braden Walker 3-disc DVD set.
And Del Ritos, the cheats.
DarkZone.com.
Remember to get your t-shirts there too.
Yeah.
Don't have t-shirts.
We need
to.
Expanding.
But here's what I mean, just watching this match, it was good, but it bored me because of what came before it, which was Crimson sucking the life out of the show.
And not only that, but you can look at it as a solid match, but with Jarrett and with Jarrett there on commentary with his blushing wife, it's like, you know what's going to happen, so you're just like, I can't enjoy this too much because I know exactly what's going to happen.
Right, and speaking of what exactly happens, Beer Money does the beer money spot, and they're about to go finish this match when Rosita jumps up on the ring apron and spits Storm's beer at him. Rude grabs her by the arm. Now, at this point, the Jarretts have been running down Mexican America. Suddenly, Karen Jarrett gets on the headset, goes, I need to go save my Mexican sister. Runs down to the ring, grabs, prevents Rude from doing anything, prevents Rude from doing anything because of the new. Well, we all know the new mandate is no man on women violence, but woman on man violence is okay. ODB kicking random security guys in the nuts. Jarrett runs down after her. Beer Money's like, yeah, thanks, Jarrett. Get her the hell out of here. Jarrett, as Jarrett and Karen and Rosita are getting out of the ring, Jarrett hands Hernandez his AAA title and hits Rude with it. Gee, who could have seen that coming?
Everyone.
Yeah, we saw it coming.
You know who didn't see that coming?
The guys who wrote it?
No. Yeah, well, no. Russo thought, well, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. Stevie fucking Wonder saw it. Ray Charles saw it, and he's dead. And
when did Stevie Wonder die? When did that happen?
Not Stevie Wonder, Charles.
Oh.
Stevie
He's dead?
Wonder's alive. Yeah, he's dead.
Wait, he was in that awesome movie like 4 years ago.
That was Jamie Foxx.
Oh, right.
So, your winners and new tag team champions of the world, Mexican America. And
Why?
Wait, it gets better. As they celebrate in the ring, the Jarretts.
Oh, in that case, why?
With them.
That doesn't make any sense. They're militant Mexican Americans pissed off at the man, and now they're kissing ass to the guy that was just doing the most fucked up shit yesterday and borderline racist stuff. And now you want to be working with this guy? Yeah, really militant and way to stand up for your race, you assholes.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. This
we hate all of you Americanos except for Jarrett and except for Jarrett and Karen who couldn't be fucking whiter if she tried. I mean, I know she fake and bakes all the fucking time, but she could not be whiter if she fucking tried.
This whole and like I said, they were running down Mexico and Mexican America the entire fucking match.
But
before that, they ran out the entire nation of Mexico.
Why help them out?
Don't you see? That was just a clever ruse.
No, it wasn't clever at all.
It makes Mexican America look stupid, hypocritical, and dumb.
And it makes Jeff Jarrett look like Jeff Jarrett.
And Jeff Jarrett's the smart one in this feud that manipulated these people. Jeff Jarrett, the guy, the blonde honky talk man with no charisma or work rate. Jeff Jarrett.
The Jeff Jarrett who couldn't draw flies to dog shit.
So this is TNA Impact. It's not good. It's not bad. It's mediocre. Yet we still were able to fill out almost an hour of time.
Yeah, and 3 people.
With 3 people.
Grossman might have thrown an interception tonight, but, I think the guy jumped the route.
Okay.
And another thing, I'm sick of people complaining about Bane's voice. It's perfectly fine. Just watch the fucking movie when it comes out and then make your opinion.
All right, now before we go too far with this Batman football X-Men talk that I'm about to talk about first class, what gets more screen time than Jay Lethal? And I'm going to start. The fucking catacombs. No. Invisible Hulk Hogan beating up Sting gets more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Okay, an audience that wasn't there that was cheering really loud got more screen time than Jay Lethal.
Much better.
Yeah, much better. I'm sorry.
Goblet of Blood got more screen time than Jay Lethal. I can't wait to see you in TNA, Paul Burchill. I hope you do a good Edward Cullen impersonation.
Oh, I got another one.
Oh, go ahead.
The Knockouts title getting stroked got more screen time than Jay Lethal. And it got...
Fucking John Beck got more screen time than Jay Lethal on this show.
Rex
And that
Grossman
belt
got more screen time than Jay Lethal. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am your humble host, Iron Bite.
I am the Magpie, Cuckoo Cuckoo, and I'm going to order a pizza.
I am No Leaf Clover, and when does the bad come back? I want Impact to be bad again.
The bad comes back next week, if you read the spoilers.
God, we're miserable. We want misery. We want misery.
Bad come back next week. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Good luck. Now, I really enjoyed X-Men.
Jeff Jarrett / Fiction gets more time than Jay Lethal.
Shut up, War Machine!
Go back to your corner.
Play the music. Da-da-da-da.